Hello, my friend. Welcome to our channel, Moon Sleep Stories. My name is Mushroom. I am a storyteller, and it is an honor to be the voice you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. Okay, let's start the relaxation part. It will take a few minutes before we start tonight's sleep story. This is your space to let go, to rest. So, take a slow breath and exhale gently. Notice how the shoulders drop just a little when you let the air out. Notice the way the jaw softens, like it has been waiting all day for this permission to rest. Tonight, you don't need to carry anything. No unfinished tasks, no buzzing phone notifications, no what ifs or should haves. Those belong to the daylight hours. Right now, this moment is just for you. Now let's walk through the door together into a story that will soothe your soul and lull you to sleep. You begin by noticing the weight of your body against the bed. It's subtle at first, like realizing you've been holding your breath for too long and finally letting it out. The mattress beneath you seems to respond as if it has been waiting all day to carry you into this exact moment. Your arms, heavy, almost float with their own weightlessness. You blink once, twice, then let your eyelids rest, because honestly, who has time for gravity when you're here, right now, slipping through the first doorway into sleep? Your breathing becomes the rhythm of the night. Inhale, slow and easy, like sipping warm tea. Exhale, a gentle sigh that whispers into the silence of the room. And the silence is kind tonight. It's the kind of silence that makes you feel safe, like you're tucked away in a secret library no one else knows about. You let yourself imagine the sound of distant wind chimes, a melody no one composed but nature herself. You shift a little, and with that, the doorway begins to glow. Not a literal door, although, if you like, you can picture a big wooden one with golden hinges that creak dramatically, like in a fantasy movie trailer, but more of a passage that your body recognizes instinctively. It's the threshold between the noise of the day and the music of the night. And speaking of thresholds, you might be amused to know that the Romans used to worship a god named Janus, who was literally the god of doorways, transitions, beginnings, and endings. Two faces, one looking forward and one looking back. Imagine him at your door tonight, politely ushering you into rest, like, "Don't worry, I've got this. Go ahead and sleep." Historians still debate whether people actually believed Janus controlled sleep, or if he was just a metaphor for all the awkward in-between stages in life. Either way, he makes a great bouncer for the club of dreams. You take another breath. Inhale, hold it for just a second. Exhale, long like your fogging up a window. The muscles in your neck loosen. The spine, that unsung hero that's carried you upright all day, finally reclines and hums a quiet thank you. You notice your hands, the tiny tremors from 1,000 text messages, 1,000 tiny taps and scrolls, now resting completely. Honestly, your thumbs deserve a vacation. The doorway widens, and you step through, not with your feet, but with your imagination. You drift into a hallway lit by the softest golden glow. The walls seem alive, painted with brushstrokes that shimmer like candlelight on polished wood. You don't need to worry where it leads. You're simply following the pull, like a leaf floating downstream. As you move deeper, you can feel the body cooperating with the story. The heart rate slows, the breathing sinks, and those thoughts that once rattled around, emails, errands, grocery lists, suddenly seem like extras in a movie whose credits are already rolling. The mind whispers, "Not tonight, we're closed for business." It's funny, humans have been practicing the art of closing shop for centuries. Did you know that in ancient Egypt, sleep was considered a portal, a literal doorway to other worlds? Priests trained in dream interpretation believed that gods could visit you during slumber, leaving messages as cryptic as text messages from your future self. One pharaoh supposedly delayed an entire military campaign because he had a dream that involved a crocodile, a river, and a loaf of bread. And honestly, who wouldn't postpone things after that? You smile at the thought, a little amused, and realize the body loves humor. It relaxes with laughter the same way it relaxes with a deep sigh. Muscles let go, shoulders sink deeper. Even your toes, those underrated little rebels at the farthest end of the body, spread just a bit, finally unclenching. The door closes behind you, and the world of daylight officially ends. Ahead, the space widens into what feels like a temple, not the grand, echoing kind, but the cozy, candlelit kind that makes you want to curl up on a velvet cushion. Every sound here seems tuned just for sleep, the hum of air like a gentle chant, the silence between like a comforting pause. You walk, but it feels more like floating. The floor doesn't resist. It simply carries you further inward, and then comes the oddest little fact, slipping in quietly, like trivia your brain saved just for tonight. Apparently, sloths can slow their heart rate by more than half when they sleep, dropping to about 30 beats per minute. Can you imagine your heart doing that right now? Sliding into that sloth level chill, a rhythm so calm you could practically hear the universe saying, "Shh, easy now." You let that image linger, your heart steady and calm, like a gentle drumbeat that matches the hush of the night. Your breathing slows even further. Inhale and exhale. The air feels cooler in your nose, warmer as it leaves. You notice it like you've never noticed it before. This simple miracle of exchange. It carries you deeper and deeper still, as though each exhale takes you one step further away from worry. And as the doorway fades behind you, you find yourself in the very beginning of a story, one that has no rush, no deadlines, no pressure to make sense, just a slow descent into healing, into rest, into a place where the mind can finally whisper, "You are safe." So here you stay, drifting further inside, sinking lower into calm. You're not quite asleep yet, but you're closer, closer, closer. The air shifts as you step forward, lighter, cooler, carrying with it the faintest fragrance, like lavender drifting through an open window on a summer night. Your shoulders notice it first. They sigh. The muscles loosen just a little more, and for a brief second, you imagine each knot in your body dissolving like sugar cubes in warm tea. The space around you transforms gently, the glow softening into something more organic. You blink, or maybe you don't. It's hard to tell anymore. And suddenly, you're no longer in a hallway. You're standing in a garden. Not just any garden, but the kind you suspect might be dreamed up by someone who's read too many poetry books and has a flair for dramatic lighting. Moonlight pours over tall ferns and blossoms that look suspiciously like they've been photoshopped, each petal radiant, each leaf carrying dew that sparkles as though tiny stars have fallen and gotten stuck there. The ground is soft beneath your feet, mossy and forgiving, like memory foam designed by nature herself. A path winds ahead. It doesn't ask you to follow, but it looks so inviting that your imagination does the choosing for you. As you wander, you notice sounds, the faint creak of crickets tuning their violins, the rustle of leaves shifting like old library pages, and somewhere in the distance, water, maybe a fountain, maybe a stream. Every sound fits into a rhythm, like the world's most patient lullaby. There's something reassuring about being in a garden at night. During the day, plants are busy. They photosynthesize, they soak up sunlight, they flex their leaves like solar panels at full tilt. But at night, they rest too. They fold in, they release oxygen quietly, like tiny night shift workers in your personal atmosphere factory. Fun fact, the queen of the night cactus blooms only once a year, and only at night. Can you imagine waiting all year for a single flower? Talk about suspense. Historians still debate whether ancient desert tribes used the bloom as an omen, or if they just thought, cool, free perfume in the middle of the night. You smile at the idea, and the garden seems to smile back. The flowers lean ever so slightly toward you, as if nodding approval that you're finally slowing down. The path curves, and suddenly the trees open into a small clearing where a fountain sits. Its water doesn't splash or roar. It trickles, steady, soft, like someone gently flipping through pages of a book. You pause here because, well, the body likes pauses. Your chest rises, your chest falls, and if you listen closely, you'll notice how your breath syncs perfectly with the fountain's rhythm. Coincidence, or just your mind cozying up to the idea of harmony? You glance around and notice vines curling up stone columns. The design feels familiar, almost like you've stumbled into a miniature version of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Historians still debate the whether those gardens actually existed or if they were just a really committed piece of ancient fan fiction. Either way, you can picture them now: terraces dripping with greenery, waterfalls cascading down carved stone, and somewhere a sleepy gardener muttering, "Do you know how much water this place takes?" You laugh quietly at the thought, and the laugh does its work. The body releases tension it didn't know it was holding. Your neck loosens, your jaw unclenches. Humor, once again, the cheapest spa treatment available. You take another step, and the moss beneath your feet feels cooler, softer, like stepping onto a giant pillow that the earth laid out just for you. The path bends again, guiding you through arches of blooming jasmine. The scent is intoxicating, sweet, rich, almost too much, but the night air softens it, turning it into the perfect dose of calm. Scientists actually say that jasmine can have a sedative effect on the nervous system. Imagine that, flowers working overtime so you can get better sleep. Way more helpful than the neighbor's car alarm, right? Deeper into the garden you go, and every detail adds another layer of calm. The fireflies appear next, blinking like fairy lights on a timer only they understand. They bob and drift, painting little constellations close to the ground, like the stars decided to sneak down for a closer look. One lands on your hand, glowing for a moment before lifting off again, leaving behind nothing but the faintest memory of warmth. You breathe in, and your lungs seem to bloom with the garden. You breathe out, and the whole space exhales with you. It's as if you and the garden are sharing the same rhythm, the same slow tempo. Inhale, exhale, like 2 dancers moving as one. You think about how every civilization, no matter the continent or century, has always built gardens, not just for food, but for peace. From Zen gardens in Japan to courtyard gardens in Islamic architecture, people knew instinctively that walking among place to lanes could calm the storm inside. Maybe that's why you're here tonight. Your mind planting seeds of peace, arranging your own personal hanging gardens in dream form. Another odd fact sneaks in as you walk. Did you know that bananas are technically berries and strawberries are not? That little bit of trivia floats by like a bee, unnecessary but strangely delightful, reminding you that the world is full of surprises. Even in a garden, nothing is ever exactly what it seems. The fountain fades behind you as the path leads deeper still. The moonlight follows faithfully, coating everything in silver. You can almost hear it dripping from leaf to leaf, a liquid light painting the garden. The stars above twinkle lazily, as if they too are in no hurry, as if they've got nowhere else to be. And so you keep walking, slow, steady, with no destination in mind. The body grows heavier, the mind lighter, and with every step you slip further from waking into that soft, endless place just beyond it. Garden of Night holds you gently, and you allow yourself to be held. You follow the garden path until it thins, tapering into a silver ribbon that leads you toward a soft sound, the hush of flowing water. It isn't loud, not like rapids or crashing waves. It's the quiet kind of water, steady and unbothered, moving with the patience of someone who knows they have all the time in the world. You move toward it, and soon the trees open up to reveal a river, wide and glimmering beneath the moon. The surface looks like liquid glass, each ripple catching starlight and throwing it back to the sky. You step closer, and somehow you're already floating, not in a boat, not even on a raft, but just gently drifting along as if the river decided, "You've walked enough tonight, let me take it from here." The current carries you, slow and sure. Beneath you, the water is cool, clear, as though it's woven from threads of memory itself. Each ripple seems to hum with echoes, laughter you've forgotten, voices from long ago, the way summer smelled when you were a child. They pass beneath you in flashes, comforting, not overwhelming, like your brain decided to do a highlight reel while your body rests. You close your eyes and the river continues. Your breath naturally syncs with its rhythm, like your chest is the tide itself. Inhale with the water's rise, exhale with its flow. You don't have to try, it just happens. The current is doing the work for you. Funny thing about rivers, humans have always been obsessed with them. They're like nature's free highways. Ancient civilizations built their lives around them because, let's face it, rivers meant survival. Fresh water, fertile soil, and an easy way to move stuff around without breaking your back. The Indus Valley civilization thrived along the Indus River around 2500 BCE, with cities so organized they had plumbing systems. Plumbing, thousands of years ago. Historians still debate whether their society collapsed because the river shifted course or because of internal conflicts. Either way, the river that gave life eventually played a part in their silence. You imagine floating past those ancient streets now, the outlines of brick houses shimmering faintly beneath the water. Maybe there's a marketplace frozen in time. Maybe a potter's wheel still turning slowly in your dream. The river of memory carries not just your own past, but humanity's too, stitching together moments across centuries, reminding you that rest has always been part of the story. The current sways left, and you drift into a section where the banks are lined with reeds. They whisper as the wind moves through them, sounding almost like gossiping voices. You laugh quietly at the thought, nature having a little chit-chat behind your back. What would they say about you? Probably, there they go again, finally learning to slow down. Took them long enough. And humor works its little magic again, unclenching the body. The chest feels lighter, the jaw softer, the space behind the eyes or open. Even your scalp relaxes. Yes, apparently that's possible. The river carries you onward. Fireflies flit across the surface, tiny lanterns guiding the way. You dip your hand lazily into the water, and it feels both cool and warm, impossible to define, like memory itself, sometimes sharp, sometimes soft. When you lift your hand, droplets fall back, each one making a sound far louder than they should in such a vast silence. Plop, plop, plop. And then the surface smooths again, erasing the evidence, like the river keeps secrets for you. Did you know that rivers can sing? Well, sort of. In certain conditions, when air gets trapped under moving ice, the vibrations create what scientists call acoustic emissions. It sounds like distant flutes, or sometimes like lasers from an old sci-fi movie. Imagine an entire frozen river playing you to sleep, humming, "Don't worry, I've got you." Odd, isn't it? But it makes sense. Water has always had a voice. You're just quiet enough to hear it now. The current bends again, and suddenly you feel as though you've left the garden entirely. The banks widen and landscapes shift. Forests blur into open plains. Plains blur into mountains that rise gently against the horizon. The river carries you through them all like a tour guide who doesn't need to explain anything because the view speaks for itself. You just lie back and watch, eyelids heavy, thoughts softening like wet clay. And somewhere in that hazy drift, you catch sight of yourself as a child, standing on a riverbank, skipping stones. The memory surfaces, real or imagined, it doesn't matter. You watch the stone fly, bounce once, twice, then sink. You smile because the younger you is smiling too. Then the current sweeps that image away, folding it back into the water. It's all part of the same stream. And you keep floating, slower now, the current almost a cradle, rocking you deeper, deeper, deeper into rest. The river slows, its surface smoothing out until it feels less like water and more like a mirror. You drift along until the current brings you to shore, soft sand this time, pale as moonlight, cool against your feet. When you step onto it, the sound is faint, like a whisper too shy to be heard. Ahead, the landscape shifts once more, as though the dream is rearranging its furniture to make you more comfortable. The trees draw back, the garden vanishes behind you, and the night opens wide. Above you spreads the star chamber. It isn't just a sky, it's a cathedral of light. Stars scatter across it like spilled salt on black velvet, some bold and bright, others trembling faintly, shy. The air is cooler here, crisper, with that almost metallic edge you sometimes smell just before dawn. You tilt your head back, and the sheer scale of it all presses gently on your chest, not in a suffocating way, but in a you are small but safe kind of way. You lie back on the sand because honestly, what else could you do under a sky like this? The grains shift to cradle you, forming a natural bed. Your body seems to sigh in agreement. Yes, stay here. The breath moves slowly in, slowly out. It feels like each inhale pulls in starlight, and each exhale sends a little of your tension back into the cosmos, recycled into something brighter. You notice constellations, some familiar, some invented by your half-dreaming mind. There's Orion with his exaggerated belt. There's the Big Dipper, looking less like a dipper and more like a lopsided shopping cart, if you're honest. And then there are the weird ones you make up. That cluster over there definitely looks like a slice of pizza. Another looks like a cat who just knocked over a vase. The stars don't mind your interpretations. They've been misread for thousands of years anyway. It's kind of comforting knowing people have always looked up here, searching for meaning. The ancient Babylonians, to me, mapped constellations more than 3,000 years ago, blending astronomy with mythology. For them, the stars weren't just lights in the dark. They were stories, gods, warnings, cosmic sticky notes. Historians still debate whether their star maps were more religious than scientific, or the other way around. Either way, they were the first to put order to this chaotic sprinkle of light. And here you are now, centuries later, making your own pizza-shaped constellations. Full circle, you laugh quietly, and the stars seem to twinkle back harder, as if they're in on the joke. Laughter, once again, does its work. Your body sinks deeper into the sand, the tension in your chest gone, the little crease between your eyebrows smoothed out. Even your eyelids, heavier, almost too heavy to keep open, close halfway. And when you do close them fully, you still see the stars, pressed against the inside of your eyelids like an afterimage. They pulse faintly, in rhythm with your breath. Inhale, stars, bright. Exhale, they dim. It feels like you're controlling the entire sky with nothing more than your lungs. Admit it, that's a little bit awesome. Somewhere far off, you hear the faint toll of a bell, low, resonant, like a temple gong carried by wind. You imagine it was struck centuries ago and has just now reached your ears, traveling across time to find you here. The sound vibrates in your chest, then fades, leaving silence softer than before. And here's an odd fact for you. The Milky Way is so wide that light takes 100,000 years to cross it. Think about that. The starlight you're seeing right now may have left its home before humans even invented written language. It traveled all that way just to say hi before you fall asleep tonight. That's dedication. You let that thought melt into your mind, not clinging to it, just letting it drift like stardust. Because here, under the star chamber, nothing needs to be solved. Nothing needs to be done. You're allowed to just be. You breathe, slow, the oldly turn, steadily. The body is nearly weightless now, your edges dissolving into sand, into night, into sky. The mind hovers between wakefulness and dreams, balanced on the quiet hum of the universe. And just before you drift completely, you hear your own sleepy voice whisper, "I am safe under these stars." And the stars, billions of them, whisper back, "Rest." The stars above linger as long as you need them, twinkling lazily like tiny campfires scattered across infinity. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, the night begins to fade. It isn't sudden, no switch is flipped, no loud announcement. It's more like the universe whispering, "Okay, friend, time to turn the page." The black velvet of the star chamber softens to indigo, then to a muted sapphire. A faint glow creeps along the horizon, golden at first, then warmer, like someone slipped honey into the sky. You feel it before you see it, the subtle shift in air, the promise of warmth on your skin, the first quiet stirrings of a new day. The sand beneath you changes too. It grows warmer, the grains buzzing with gentle life. Your body responds in kind, muscles stretch invisibly, blood hums more brightly, your chest expands with a deeper breath, like a cat waking from a nap and remembering it has bones. The dream garden, the silver river, the endless sky. All these landscapes begin to fold softly inward, retreating into memory. They aren't gone. They've simply become part of you now, stitched into the seams of your rest. You carry them quietly, like pressed flowers inside a favorite book. The golden light strengthens, shadows form and stretch across the sand. In the distance, you can almost hear the world stirring, birds lifting their voices into tentative song, leaves brushing each other in the first morning breeze. It feels ancient, this ritual of dawn, as though you're witnessing something that has happened every single day of history, but is still being performed just for you. And of course, the historian in you can't help but remember. People have always celebrated sunrise. The Egyptians greeted Ra, the sun god, each morning as he sailed across the sky in his golden boat. The Mayans designed temples so that the rising sun aligned perfectly with their stonework, proof of their cosmic choreography. Historians still debate whether these rituals were about survival, worship, or just sheer awe. But honestly, have you seen this sunrise? Awe makes the most sense. The first rays touch your skin now, and it feels like warmth seeping all the way to your bones. Your breath deepens, matching that warmth, carrying it inward. Inhale, golden light fills you. Exhale, anything heavy, anything sharp, anything tired drifts out. You are being rinsed clean by morning itself. And here's a curious fact. Sunrises move, not just east to west, but north and south too, depending on the season. Imagine the sun like a dancer, sliding up and down the horizon, never once repeating the exact same entrance. Every morning is original. Every morning is a once-in-history event. And this one right now, belongs only to you. You smile, and even that small movement feels different, lighter, freer, like your face just remembered what it was designed for. Humor sneaks back in. You think, well, I survived another night of my own thoughts. Gold says, tar for me. The stars may be gone, but your joke earns a private twinkle all the same. The garden echoes faintly in your memory, the scent of jasmine, the fireflies. The river hums somewhere inside you, its current still flowing in your veins. And the stars, though hidden, remain like invisible friends, patient and constant. You don't lose them, you carry them. And in their place, morning steps in with open hands. The light grows brighter now, and with it comes clarity. Your body feels whole, healed, ready. The fatigue that clung to your shoulders, the noise that crowded your mind, the exhaustion that seemed impossible to shake, all of it has been washed out, left behind in the dream landscapes you've traveled. You emerge lighter, brighter, rested. This is the return, not rushed, not jolted, but smooth, like a long exhale that finally empties. You lie there in the soft glow, knowing that sleep will hold you as long as you need. The story has no hard ending, no sudden cut, just this, a gentle fade into the embrace of morning, where your mind is clear, your body whole, and your soul deeply, quietly at peace. And so you let yourself drift, perhaps into the final stretch of sleep, perhaps into waking, whichever your body chooses. Either way, you are safe, you are restored, you are ready. The night has given you back to yourself. And now, as the story dissolves, you are free to float in the space between sleep and waking. There is no hurry. The morning light can wait as long as you need it to. Let the images blur, the garden fades, but the peace it gave you stays in your chest. The river's current softens, but its rhythm continues in your breath. The stars may have slipped behind the sun, but their shimmer remains tucked gently in your eyelids. You carry them all, every calm, every glow, every quiet note of this night. Feel the edges of your body melting further, as though you are not separate from the bed, the room, or even the world. You are part of the same vast pattern, the same infinite rhythm as the breath of the earth itself. Each inhale is a gift, each exhale a release. Allow your mind to soften until even these words blur into background sound. There is nothing left to do, no thoughts to hold, no worries to untangle. Only rest, only the soft lull of Nig, carrying you where you need to go. If sleep comes, let it come fully. If you linger in the half-dream, stay as long as you like. This is your sanctuary. And when you wake, whether in an hour or at sunrise or far later, you will rise lighter, you will rise whole, you will rise knowing you have healed because you gave yourself permission to rest. For now, simply drift, let go, be held. Good night.